Hello, good morning. Before I start my today's presentation, I would like to wish a very happy National Day to Singapore. Today, Singapore is celebrating its 57th National Day, the Independence Day, which is on 9th August. My presentation, I would like to begin with that when this earth was created by God, there were there was no life. Slowly, the life started coming in from the very small creatures, plants, and the life started evaluating. Ultimately, the human beings were created on this earth. They occupied some places on the land, and they started living there. Now, not getting satisfied, whosoever was living wherever, they started moving to other places, trying to assess the God-gifted assets of that part, and they started capturing whosoever was more powerful. He started capturing others' assets, others' lands, and that was the beginning of creating this political world which we are seeing today. Now, the creation of this political world has ended up, or we have reached to a stage that which is not very convenient. We are seeing wars continuously throughout the globe, one after the another. Currently, we are seeing the tension in between the Ukraine, Russia, then there is a Taiwan, China. So everybody is wanting to capture others' land, others' assets, others' properties, others' money. In this situation, when today we are celebrating the 57th National Day of Singapore, this small country, very little country, has grown up to a developed world and competing with the world in such a manner that it is at par with most of the nations, the developed nations, or even better. My today's presentation is about this. So I begin with my presentation today. Let's come to the region, this about which I am going to talk. So here you can see this this country, the small country, Singapore. From India, not very far away. Now let us see some very important facts about Singapore. Now, Singapore was occupied by Japanese in 1942 during the World War, and then the British control came over to Singapore when the Japanese surrendered in 1945. And only after a British rule of 18 years, Singapore became a part of the Malaysia when the British rule was over. In 1965, there were some issues between Malaysia and Singapore, and in 1965, on 9th August, Singapore became a sovereign country. There was not much left in Singapore at that time. All the resources were very limited, and the Prime Minister, who is at that time Lee Kuan Yew, who is also considered as the father of the nation, he had given a speech at that time to the Singaporeans that how we have to develop ourselves. So the most important thing which he said was that we are not going to be communal. Everybody living here, whether he is from any country, from any religion, we have to work together to grow ourselves, and there will be no discrimination. That was his first lesson to his countrymen, and today we all are seeing the results that the Singapore is one of the best countries in education, healthcare, quality of life, infrastructure, housing, and then now I'll show you that how the Singapore has grown. The people are so satisfied with the governance in Singapore that only the one party which is started democratically to rule over Singapore, or I should say that to take the governance of the Singapore, was the PAP, and there are about 100 seats, and most of the seats are always won by this party because the people are so satisfied. I don't see any other example in the world where the same party has ruled over democratically in a country since the independence has been achieved. Now, coming to Singapore, it's a very small island on the equator. Here you can see that this is a very small island surrounded by sea, and this is a very small place if I consider about a place in Lucknow, which is even of about the same size. Here you can see the some of the roads and some of the places, the lakes in this map of the Singapore, and the ocean is intruding at most of the places to Singapore. In Singapore, here you can see. Now, you see that this is such a small country with just a 50 kilometers in which is it's the maximum distance, and it is about 27 kilometers from top to bottom. I'm just making it around 750 square kilometers. Now, where Singapore stands today, most of the data has been taken from the various sites who are from the World Health Organization, or several other sites are working, and they are giving the gradings to all the nations in various important sectors which influence the any nation. So the most here I have collected data from many of the websites which may alter from but 2 to 4%, but this is how it has happened. Now, the most one important thing about in the growth of a country is the corruption. Now let's see where the Singapore stands in the globally in the corruption. So these are the least corrupt countries in the world. You see the 10 least corrupt countries. It is by some analysts who are working on these type of things. The least corrupt country is Denmark, then Finland, New Zealand, Norway, and here you see that the least corrupt country, Singapore and Norway, they share the fourth position. So this is the one reason of the development of the Singapore. Now coming to the cleanliness. In the world, Singapore stands second to Denmark. It's almost the same, the first and second in the cleanliness. Singapore stands second in the world. So this is just a small country, how it has grown in just 57 years to reach one of the best countries in the world. Business, ease of business. You see New Zealand is at the top in the world, and again the Singapore is on the second in the ease of doing business, and that is the one reason for Singapore to growing at just a fast speed. Currency, where the how the Singapore currency stands. Now let us see the people, the experts in the finances all over the globe, they say that the Singapore is one of the strongest currencies in the world, and it is continuously becoming strong and strong. Now, the most important thing is the passport. If you have a Singapore passport or a Germany passport or a Japan passport, these are the topmost 2 or 3 passports. You don't need visa to go to any country. Now, this is a very important parameter that how the world rates you. If you hold a Singapore passport, a German passport, or a Japan, you don't need visa to 190 countries, including USA, any of the European countries, Canada, or even China. So this is how the world thinks about the people of the Singapore, and how the globally the Singapore stands. It's the topmost passport. If you hold a passport, you can move around the world without any visa, without any restriction, and that shows that how a Singaporean, a citizen of Singapore, is rated in the world. Here you see the Japan and Singapore, they hold the top position as far as the strength of the passport is considered. The airlines, again, it's a criteria of a nation, which is the best airline in the world, and no doubt Singapore has been ranking first, yeah, in the world, the best airline in the world. Best airports, which is the best airports. Again, the Singapore airport is always being rated the best in the world, and followed by some other, the Doha airport, the other airports you can see here. Now, because of the economy, the purchasing power of a Singaporean, the Singaporean has become one of the costliest cities, or you can say country, because Singapore city or country is the same, has become the costliest, one of the costliest cities on the world. In the top, it is making in the top 3 and 4. Here you can see it is Israel, France, they have, this is the index 106, 104, so it becomes the second most costliest, or almost the costliest country of the world. So if you're living in Singapore, it means that you have a purchasing power to purchase the costliest things in the world, and that shows the economy comparing to the world. Now, education. Such a small country, and still it has got 2 universities, the NUS, National University of Singapore, and NTU, Nanyang Technological University. Now you see that there are the, in the topmost universities, the US universities are the topmost, with a few, with the one in the Korean university and some in the British universities. But still, the National University of Singapore is the falls in the top 10 universities of the world. Here you can see the rating here, there it has been rated 11. These data are just one within have been corrected within a year or so these are the parameters. You see that this is a small nation in 57 years has reached to the top of the world. And then let us see the how the health sector has worked. The World Health Organization has given the 4th position when it comes to the health services for its citizens. So they have the one of the best infrastructures as far as health services are concerned, Singapore, and they even ahead of Japan and other European countries. The rule of law. We all know that Singapore is a place where the law is supreme, and the citizens of Singapore, or even the visitors, the tourists, they all become a law person when they come here, the outsiders, when we see that how the rule and the law of the land is followed. And this is here again, you can see that the Singapore is here at the 4th rank. It is almost the 4-5 top countries are in the same position. These are the Finland, Norway, New Zealand. They are the best countries where the law of the land is supreme. Every citizen, every visitor is a law-abiding person in this country. So with this, I end up my presentation, and it was just to tell you that how this small country of just something around 750 square kilometers has become the one of the top 2-3 nations in the world because of their dedication of their citizens, the loyalty towards the country, with no corruption tolerance, zero corruption policy, and so many other things which I have shown you. So thank you for watching this presentation, and once again a very happy National Day to Singapore.